Super Cool Radio!
Hello everyone, I am Matthew Thomas. You are watching Super Cool Radio. We got two very great guests with me at this time. Both are members of the band Stage Drive and have their own solo material. Yeah. First up, making his third appearance now on the Super Cool Radio. He's a drummer for Stage Drive. He has his own solo material under Diecast Romance. This is Bryan Knickerbocker.
Stop it. Hi, good to be back. I'm excited. I'm happy to be back.
Good to have you back. And then my guest right below me is the very talented vocalist and guitarist. She is the voice for Stage Drive. Please welcome Kayla Drange.
Yeah, first time here. I'm excited. Not a senior citizen like Bryan over here. Been here 3 times, man. Ugh.
I was beat. I'm beat. I thought that I was the most experience, but I found out that somebody's got me beat by 2, but I'm in second place.
Well,
I'll take second place.
Anybody have me beat, so for now.
Hey, that's still a silver medal. That's fine with me.
That's right.
I'll give you that.
Bryan just overachieves, and he's always on my show for some reason.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Kayla knows how much of an overachiever I am.
I'm aware too.
Everybody's like yesterday, and he was like, it was of him playing the drums, and he's like, just so you remember who your drummer is, and I was like, oh my god.
She was on a date with a drummer, and I literally recorded a video of me playing drums and sent it to her while I knew she was hanging out with this person.
He was like, just so you replace me.
Don't need no Yoko Ono.
You're replaceable, though. You're replaceable, Bryan.
All right, great way to start off this podcast. All right.
Like an old married couple.
We really are.
So before we dive into everything too deep, even though I think we already started already, I'm gonna start with a fun question to liven things up right now. So, what music have you been listening to this week, Bryan and Kayla?
Ooh.
That's not the question you asked me. I like the other one that you asked me.
You already answered it.
She didn't.
Well, yeah, but you're here.
Fair enough. Go ahead, Kayla. You first.
I don't think. 80s hair metal honestly is always the go-to, but we're trying to get our set list set up for an upcoming show that we might or might not have. So, the eye roll. And anyways, so we're doing one cover for that show in that set, and so today I was going through a bunch of like female 80s metal artists, just trying to get a song in my head to see what clicks. So yeah, I'm going to say 80s hair metal always is the best genre there is.
Very nice. Did you find the song?
No, it's not.
Did you find a song yet that you're going to cover?
I think we did. Yeah, I think so. I'm going to keep that under wraps for now.
All right.
She'll text me as soon as the camera stops.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right, Bryan, how about you?
Man, we had practice in Ipsy, so I was
an hour to listen.
I was in the car for like an hour yesterday. I was listening to a lot of stuff. I'm still on Ice Nine Kills kick. That's like my go-to metal band right now. Yeah, there's a band, Danny Warsnop from Asking Alexandria, his side project, We Are Harlot. Andrew and I listened to that whole album on the way down. Really good. It's like 80s with a little bit of heavy. That's what I'll go with that answer, and then whatever I listen to when I play my drums, just kind of put everything on shuffle and hope for the best.
Hope for the best.
All right. No, all very good. I'm on an Ice Nine kick, Kills kick as well.
You need to check it out, Kayla.
I do, apparently. Yes.
I saw them live, I think it was 2019, and
you bastard.
That show, That show was just insane. I was at the House of Blues in Chicago. It was an insane show.
For the House of Blues. Nice.
Yeah.
So basically, Kayla, Ice Nine Kills, you know how like the Misfits in the 80s and 70s, they did punk songs based on like old like B-movie, like The Blob and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Ice Nine Kills is basically a metalcore band that does songs based off of like Friday the 13th, Halloween, like all the mainstream franchises. They just did that American Psycho song that they just put out.
I didn't know that.
They Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach was on it. It was really good. Yeah.
Papa Roach, yeah. I just check it out.
I'm gonna check that out.
There you go, Matt.
That's why I asked this question, is for me just to find good music.
It's easy to check out, yeah.
He's just bored with what he's listening to and needs help finding new things to listen to.
Pretty much.
I'll see if I can help you this month.
We have very eclectic influences, that's for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, so now that we got all the fun stuff in the way, we're going to dive in deep now. So I know, Bryan, we talked about how you started as a musician, but Kayla, I'm going to ask you that question. How'd you get started as a musician?
Ooh, man,
I'm curious too. I haven't heard this story either.
Oh, really?
That's surprising. We have our two, so we have a lot of time to talk about that, Bryan. A lot of time in the car. Oh, yeah.
Very true.
I've been singing my entire life. I don't have any other musicians in my family, though, really. So I don't know why I was interested in it at first. I got my first acoustic guitar. It was like a little white first hat guitar when I was, I think I was like 8 or 9. And I never took lessons or anything. I would just like strum the same just B string over and over and over again. And I just thought it was the coolest sounding thing in the entire world. And then I got my first electric guitar like a year later. And I've loved it since. I never took any lessons or anything. So I was all self-taught.
Really?
Yeah.
Me too.
I would like to take lessons at some point. There's always more to learn, of course. And then I got into drumming about 2 years ago, and I didn't take lessons for that either. Bryan was like, I'm going to give you lessons.
Listen, I am actually very happy that, like, she's asking me questions because, like, my daughters are still too young for me to, like, take them wanting to do it seriously. So, like, I feel like I'm, like, kind of, like, you're, like, the person that I'm imparting all of my knowledge onto until they get old enough to do it, but
right.
She's pretty good. She's very humble about her drumming. That is for darn sure. She is a very solid foundation for being a self-taught drummer.
There's a lot to learn there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I have other musicians in my family though that I've just always really been in love with music. And I started playing solo acoustic shows when I was 16-ish, 16 or 17. Just at like coffee houses and stuff like that. And I played at a festival and I met my first drummer. So I did like a little White Stripes duo type thing for a little while. And that's actually a show that I met Bryan at. I was playing with that drummer. And then we formed Stage Drive last August. So yeah.
Very, very nice. I do like
we being the previous incarnation of Stage Drive.
Yeah, the other members of Stage Drive, yeah.
The band total started last August. I wasn't in the band yet.
Yeah, thank you.
I was actually going to get to that too as well, but before I do, so how did you guys actually like start working together? When was like the first like action? Like, hey, maybe we should start writing and recording and doing stuff. Right.
So yeah, as Kayla alluded to, we had a show. There's a festival at the Crowfoot in Pontiac.
Yeah, 2 years.
January the very first. I remember this because I had to work the night before. It was the first Saturday in January last year, and I'm not going to get into the funny story that I tell about when I'm
sorry.
My wife watches these. No, so my roadie and I, we were both running on like 4 hours of sleep. We were both like dead tired. And we're driving around because the Crowfoot's in downtown Pontiac, and like it was a festival, so there was like 15 to 20 bands that are all loading in. We were told to be there at 11 a.m. for some stupid reason.
All of us, yeah.
Yeah, we all showed up at the same time. It was just drum sets just lining an entire wall. It was the craziest thing. I'm embarrassed now. This is going to be on YouTube forever. But no, we were we were driving around and we saw her walking around with her old drummer, and I'm like, oh, pretty girl, hey, come to our show. And then I never saw them again. And then we get to play. I'm setting my stuff up and I'm setting my drum set up, and I was only half paying attention. And then I look up on stage and it's like, hi, my name's Kayla Drange. I'm like, that's her. She came to the show.
I got a parking ticket that night. I parked. It was not illegal. I didn't even understand the ticket, but I was so upset. I went after the show, after my set. We were unloading drums and stuff, and I went out to my car and I had a parking ticket. I was like, come on, dude, it's tonight, really tonight? Come on, what the heck?
But so after her set, I went up to her and talked to her because she's a phenomenal musician and kicked off the show very well, and I told her that I wanted a T-shirt that I'm still waiting on. I added her on Facebook. I added her on Facebook. I think when I told her, let me add you on Facebook, and we kind of kept in pseudo contact for a little bit. And this is when I was still in Two-Face Wilson, and we just kind of kept in contact. And I was starting to kind of want an out from Two-Face Wilson. I wish him the best. There's not any bad blood.
No.
Per se. I have my own personal issues, but that's beside the point. That was what it was. Her old solo drummer and her separated, professionally. Professionally, there was no personal, anyways, sorry.
That was an interesting, yeah.
You made me tell my embarrassing story, so I'm just going to keep making you blush this whole time now. So I kind of was talking to her. I was like, hey, if you need a solo drummer, I'll do it. Like, I want to work. And this is kind of when I was getting my session / for hire career started off the ground or whatever. And, we were talking about it, and she's terrible at checking her Facebook messages, which I found out the hard way. And so I thought that she hated me, and then I thought that she hated me, or I was being a creep and whatever. And then then we finally got around to talking about it, and then we were like, hey, let's go on a tour. Like,
that's when
just two of us.
Stage dive with my old members in stage dive, and no bad blood. Like, we're all really cool. I'm still really good friends with all three of them. They're amazing musicians. It's just we were going different ways, just creativity, and just other differences either way. But we played our last show together with those members in June, and I think it was like the week after that show. You messaged me, and you were talking about like solo stuff.
Well, we had been planning the tour up to, we had been talking about it, and I had kind of been working the solo tour around. And then I got a hold of you because I was really excited about that show that no longer exists in Milwaukee. And I wanted to tell you over the phone because I was really excited about it. And then you kind of got into talking about what was going on with Stage Drive. And you and I, at that point, we had the idea of doing like an EP together.
Yeah.
That was what that was. And then you were talking about wanting to start Stage Drive over again, get all new members. And
I really gave it to Bryan. That was like a 2-hour conversation of me just going a million miles an hour. And he was just like taking it all in.
Mm-hmm. I was sitting in my basement. I was scared to death to call her because I hadn't seen her in person since that Crowfoot show.
2 years.
Yeah. The first band practice that we did together was the first time with Stage Drive was the first time that we had ever played a note of music together.
But it's funny though because we meshed immediately right off the bat. We meshed so well together.
Yeah. And then so the EP of us together turned into, well, let's just make these Stage Drive songs, which we have touched exactly none of them yet. Yet.
We've had other things going on to be.
We do. I'm not mad about it. I just now noticed that we haven't touched any of the songs that I had sang yet.
And that's on the record too now.
It is on the record. So clock's ticking there, kid. But that turned into like, let's make these Stage Drive songs. And, she was telling me, I want to redo Stage Drive, and talking about how I was her first choice for some reason to be her new drummer, and
I said 100%, yeah, like right off the bat. I mean, we were already talking about solo stuff, and when I saw you at the Crowfoot that night, I mean, you were amazing with Two-Face Wilson, you know. So right off the bat, yeah.
Thank you. Overcompensating with my overly large drum set that I'm going to be using in stage drive.
Well, at least you're not
like
playing like
I could probably get away with my little kid, except now there's that double bass part in that one song, so now I have to use that. We're speaking cryptically because her and I are the only ones that know what we're talking about right now, and that's okay. So yeah, that's how we started working together, and here we are.
Woo!
Very cool. Well, you're always known for like a large drum set anyway. Why change now?
Oh yeah, no, I love the.
Well, yeah, it's
so many bells and whistles, you know.
So for people that have never seen her in person or like aren't friends with her on Facebook, she is like this big around, like head to toe. She is like this big around, and I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'3", so all my drums are like up and out. And she came over to my house for a rehearsal, and I'm like, hey, you want to play my drum set? Because she's learning how to play drums, and she sits down. She looked like a doll behind my drums. Everything was just like surrounding her. It was the funniest thing.
It feels quite small, yeah.
But no, I mean, I've learned. That's fine. That's not a whole lot bigger than what I use at Tim's house.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I think two more cymbals than that, and then my percussion things. But yeah, for better or for worse, I think that is unfortunately what I'm known for nowadays. Having a big drum set. I'm capable of playing on a smaller drum set, but myself, I'm terrible at. I have terrible stage fright and anxiety, so I like to hide behind all my big things and just pretend like nobody else exists.
You really can hide behind all. It's like a wall of just percussion and cymbals and like, yeah.
And I know how to use it all. It's not like they're just for show, like the guy in the 80s with the gong that they only hit at the end of a drum solo. Like, I use all my stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe
he has 3 snares, and at first I was like, why do you have 3 snares? And then after playing a couple songs, I was like, oh, okay.
Well, one of them's basically a table. Like, it's not. I need to do work on that one I need to work on that one that you're going to use for that one thing in that one song.
That was incredibly descriptive.
I'm just you know what I'm talking about. I'm just keeping him out of it.
I'm the host here.
That's what he's here for. We're doing a part in the song. What song is that for? It's called Be the Love. Yeah, it's called Be the Love, aka the funky song. It has like a James Brown rock type feel to it. It's probably my second favorite song to play other than Ego. But Leave the Love, we have so far. At the ending, we do this thing live where Bryan, so our guitarist Tim, he does his solo. Him and Elaine are just breaking down, doing some cool stuff, and then I go grab some sticks that we have hidden on stage somewhere, and then Bryan's doing his cool thing, and then he scoots over to like the right side of his drum set, and I come over to his other snare and his other hi-hat, and we do kind of like almost like a call and response thing. Like I'll go like basic, whatever, and then he'll do a fill, and then he'll do basic whatever, and I'll do a fill. It's kind of cool. I'm excited to do it live. Like really,
we're working the kinks out of it still, but yeah, that's the point. The point is that third snare was pretty much a table that had a drum pad on top of it that I just kind of set my phone on whenever it wasn't functional until she grabbed it and started using it for that part. So I need to get it back in working order now. I need to do work on it now.
Yeah.
That's also on the record, so you better fix it.
It is on the record. I have recording of this now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know exactly what I need to get. It's just a matter of getting it.
All right, so me being the host now, even though I'm apparently missing a bunch of information.
Good. That's the way we like it.
What they say in their interview, I don't know. They just talk cryptically.
It's all code. It's all code.
All right. So obviously with the reformation of the lineup change of Stage Drive, what can people expect?
I honestly, we started Stage Drive with the other original members a year ago, so last August. Again, there's no bad blood or anything, but I am more excited about this band now than I have been ever since we started it. It was terrifying at first to have to rebrand and everything, thing. It was, and I was kind of bummed out because I just felt like it was such.
You had taught you for a while were going back and forth about just completely doing it and having an entirely new name, like starting scratch over.
Scrap it, but then it's just I put so much work into building the brand, and I don't know. I really was convinced that we were just going to scrap it entirely when we were first talking about working together. But I don't know. You put so much work into building something. I would just hate to do that. So it was definitely a letdown at first and kind of a bummer. I just felt like it was such a big setback. But I mean, we are doing really well. Like even yesterday's practice, for instance, was just amazing, and I was super like geeked out and all giddy because I was like, "This is so cool! Like it sounds so good!" And I'm really excited now. But yeah, no.
Kayla, what's your happy noise?
I have a lot of sound effects. I'll keep them up there. But yeah, no, we're really excited for the things we have coming up, and I think live people can. I mean, even in our EPs and singles that we have planned, I think they can just expect more energy and more just. I don't know. I'm really excited. We have a lot. We have a lot that we're going to bring. I'm really excited.
So we all have very eclectic influences. Kayla and I are both. I mean, Matthew, from the other interview the second time, I don't really see. I was on the show, but I wasn't interviewed because I was interviewing you. That was for your 2-year thing.
That's still an appearance, though.
Right, but anyways. So my influences are all over the place, but I'm really rooted in like 80s and 70s rock and stuff like that, and all the bombast and stuff and all that stuff, and Kayla is a lot as well, and our bass player Elena, she's a punk girl, like old school Joey Ramone type stuff, and Tim is. I don't really know. He's very.
He's hair metal a lot. That was one of the first things when Tim and I met. That's one of the first things he said, and I was like, "Wait, you were like what?" Like, this is perfect. Say nothing else. You're in the band.
it's great. So basically, you can expect like a mix of those two things, like gnarly punk and like 80s hair metal. Like Kayla and Elena are working on some really dope harmonies. I'm trying to weasel my way into getting a microphone to do stuff eventually, maybe.
That's one more thing that I'm incredibly excited about with the rebrand is I love having a female in the band. Elena and I, we did a CRB radio thing.
Oh yeah,
2 weeks ago, and her and I have had each other for a while, but we did that, and we finally met in person for the first time. And right off the bat, we were like, "I want to work with you." So it's kind of cool.
You had told me that you were going to ask her to work with you, and then she asked you before you had the chance to. I
got there, and in my head, I was like, "Okay, after you guys are done with the show, just ask her if she wants to audition for stage dive, whatever," because we were going to rebrand. But then before leaving, she was just like, "Yeah, if you ever want to work together, I'd be down," and I was like, "Yeah." So it was like a mutual, like platonic soulmates, It's perfect. It's really working out, though. We are working on some pretty dope harmonies. It's working out pretty well.
Yeah, and I mean, big drums, big guitars,
big personalities. Everyone
big
has
voice.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what you can expect. We got like a couple of some funk influences in a couple of the songs. We got a nice little. I get to use my double bass pedal live, which is new. We got and my cowbell.
You have a cowbell?
I do. I get to use the cowbell.
So you need more cowbell.
It originally was not. It originally was not, but then I was like, "Hey, so I was thinking about this thing," and she's like, "Do it." I'm like, "Okay,
do it."
Good. I already bought it.
Fun fact. This is the third cowbell on my drum set that I've had. I've broken 2 other ones.
How do you break a cowbell?
Well, so the cowbells are mostly used for like samba music and stuff like that, and you don't hit it as hard with super thick drumsticks like I do. And they make one specifically for it. They got this little piece of plastic like shaped like this that goes along the rim the edge that you hit, so it doesn't cave the metal in. And I didn't know that with the first 2, and I got ones that didn't have that, and I caved them in.
Oh man,
I'm heavy-handed. Like Ari from Of Saints and Scoundrels, he does not believe that I'm as heavy-handed as I actually am, and I've cracked a lot of cymbals.
I cracked one cymbal and I was proud of myself. I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, did I do that?"
She got up and stared up and looked at it.
Got up and
That's gonna be like our band mantra. We're gonna be like, all right, hands in, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Go on stage.
Yeah, that's so funny.
I like it. Yeah, that's like the proper response when you break something on a
100%. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I will definitely.
I look at it like shit. I have to spend more money. Are you kidding me? I'm actually a drummer. That's.
Yeah.
I have my endorsement deal with Soul Tone. I can't just go to Guitar Center and grab a new one. I have to order one from California.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be there the next day.
Give or take, yeah, usually. Give or take.
It's just,
still money.
As long as they like you and don't lose your stuff. Apparently the mail doesn't like me because my stuff gets lost. Oh, is this for Matthew Thomas? He doesn't need it.
Super cool. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, out the window. Anyway, sorry. Didn't need to talk about my mail experiences. But, so what is your guys' writing process? How do you build a song?
Well, for now, to start out, I mean, Kayla, she is a machine when it comes to writing lyrics and melodies, and the fact that she'd been a solo artist for so long, she has all of these songs that are just compiled, and she's just kind of picking and choosing the ones, and some of the stuff, I feel like you should be answering this question, but I just beat you to the punch on purpose. So I can't speak for So Damn Right or Thank You for Loving Me because those were written before we were in the band, but with the Ego and Lethal Love, which are the two that we've been writing as this incarnation so far, she had the nucleus, had the melodies and stuff like that, a general idea of a guitar line, and then maybe the general, like with Ego, you had the bass line figured out.
What's funny about that though is for that song, this was before Bryan and we were just talking about rebranding Stage Drive, so before Elena and Tim came along, I sent him this like crappy recording I had of a bass line, and I was like, hey, I think I have this really good beat for a song, and I want this to be like our single that we come back with and everything. So it's really grown, I think, because yesterday it was awesome in practice, really.
I was pleasantly surprised, but yeah, so she'll have like little bits and pieces for us to go off of. And then we just kind of, like with the double time thing at the end of Ego, I'm a big Misfits fan. Elena loves the Ramones, and I think Tim was like, and double time go. And then Elena and I were like, all right, we can do this. So
I do like little things. Everyone's putting their own spin on it, really. Yeah,
it's pretty much a trial and error. Like Tim was fucking around with way too many guitar effects yesterday, and we were like, don't do that, please.
Don't do that ever.
But
like organ effect. And it was like, it sounded like we were at church, and we were like, no.
The organ was cool. It was like the spacey, weird tape echo thing that he did for like the first half of the Lethal Love solo, and like, I just remember you looked at me, and I looked at you, and we're like,
Everything sounded good, and then I stopped vocals, and we were all like, okay, Tim, it's Tim's time to shine. It's time for a solo. And he walked over toward his amp, and he kicked on a pedal, and I was just like, what is that? It sounded so bad.
We're still pretty early on. I know that obviously the other three members are, when this was originally just going to be Kayla and I doing an EP, I went on a writing spree and just recorded a bunch of demos in GarageBand and sent them over to her, and we'll eventually get to those. And everybody's going to have a say. That's the one thing that I like. That's a big difference from being in Two-Face Wilson is, it's Adam's project, which I knew, and he had everything written and done before he showed it to us. And he's like, this is what I want here. This is what I want here. Like, I didn't tell you this. I didn't tell you this yesterday. I was bored. Like, there was a time where Tim and Elena were working on something, and I'm just sitting behind my drum set, like, but like I remember, like, this is how a band writes songs. Sometimes two other people are going to be needing to do something specific, and then the other people are going to be sitting there, and I'm like, oh, this is what I've been missing. Like, I'm okay with this. Like,
that's why I want to be. That's one thing I do like about the member. We just have such an awesome group now because everyone, rather than just saying, okay, this is what I think sounds good, this is how it's going to be. it doesn't matter what it is, even if it's like a lyric or something, or like a harmony or something. I'm like, okay, I think this sounds good. Do you guys like this, or do you like this? It's like we'll do options and we'll get people's like votes and stuff. I mean, even for like, deciding the last song we want to add to our set, we're taking votes. We're not just putting our foot down and saying, hey, this is how it is. That's not how a band should be, If there's four of us, there's four voices.
I do like the dynamic of your you guys' band, that you're all like you're very open to suggestions, that you're all like trying to have everyone have a voice in all the decision making. I think that's what really propels a band into doing different things, and everyone's happy with it. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, but as far as like songwriting, as a lyricist, I really focus on lyrics heavily. I don't like, my one rule for the song is if somebody can, so like the word ball rhymes with like ball. If you can guess what I'm going to say next, then it shouldn't be in the song. Like I want it to be so like diverse and so like specific that you can't guess what I'm going to say, and that's what I always focus on the most, I think. Does that even make sense?
No, I'm just laughing because I'm actually I'm remembering when I actually started paying attention to what you were saying during Lethal Love, and it was over at my house. My kids are upstairs, and I'm like,
oh, that's a spicy one. Yeah, that's
definitely not rated G. That's
we were upstairs when we were practicing, and he was like, "Okay, Kayla, don't swear in the mic." And then we started singing Lethal Love, and it's talking about like good sex. And I was like, okay, should I filter this or?
No, that wasn't even it. My kids are in the other room, so I'm not even gonna say it super loud. But like, she's like, "It's fucking good. It's fucking good." Like, I just told you.
Oh yeah, no, I got excited about a part, and I was like, "Let's go, boys, let's go."
Jeez.
Yeah, sorry.
That's what I get for being in a band with somebody 7 years younger than me.
Oh my god, he acts like he's an old man.
I feel like an old man.
I'm 23. Calm down, honey.
And I will be 30 next year.
Goodness.
I'm not the oldest one in the band. Tim's a little older than me. He is 30 right now.
Oh, is he 30? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. I don't really want to segue from my next thing to from people's ages, so I'm just gonna do it. So like, is it a different approach for you guys when you're writing like stage drive stuff compared to like you guys' solo stuff?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my solo stuff, I have a show coming up on Friday. Actually, me and Elena are both doing a solo set. We're doing one song together, which is super exciting. It was very last minute. It's at Parts and Labor in Melvindale. But either way, so my solo stuff, I try to base it off of personal experiences more or less, and I try to like, again, use super specific lyrics and like slower like melodies and stuff like that. And I just try to evoke some kind of emotion. Like I don't want you leaving my show without feeling like you just went through like a therapy session, like like I wanted to evoke some kind of something in you. As compared to like stage drive stuff, I want people to be hyped up and happy and just like know that we're having fun and that we love our music and we love being up there. So it's definitely a different approach for me.
Yeah, and with diecast, Kayla's solo stuff, when she plays it live, it's just, her and an acoustic guitar and soon to be me. But like the writing process for her, I don't want to speak for you, but it's, just you figure out the acoustic guitar part, you figure out the lyrics, and then you go. And then if you end up recording something else with it, that's fine. But like with Diecast Romance being a studio only project, I have like guitar lines to worry about, bass lines, figuring that out, who's going to sing on the songs, if I'm going to have any guest musicians, like and that was how it was set up, was like, I want to prove that I can be the leader and do wear all the hats, as from an organizational standpoint. So like with Stage Drive, I just have to focus on the drums. And then keeping Kayla from saying too much about things that we don't need to be talking about right now. But I mean, on the other side of that, and I'm sure with Kayla as well, even though she's relatively new with drums, like I know how to play bass and I can do some guitar stuff. So like I can help Tim and Elena. Like I can, what I
full sign for Ego. It was nice already having like that. Like just that idea of what we wanted, so we could easily show Tim and easily show Elena, and then they can show us. Like, I can't remember what song it was for. Oh, maybe it was for Ego. we showed Elena like the part that we had an idea for, and then she took it in a different direction, and it sounds so good. And that's kind of why I love having her in the band. Like, she has such an awesome, like, creative mind. We can show her the most simple thing, and she'll just, like, the next practice, she'll turn it into this, like, crazy, like, just something of her complete own, which is just amazing.
She's the dark horse of the band, I honestly think. I mean, she's going to be the one that's going to kind of, gonna surprise it.
Yeah. I love it though.
She plays guitar in a punk band now.
Yeah.
And also has her solo stuff, so she can speak bass and guitar,
right? And
sing. Tim can play bass and guitar, so he can speak. So like it's everybody kind of has.
I think
somebody else in the band.
Of some sort.
Yeah, like everybody has somebody that speaks their instrument so that they can like bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
And like, how does this work? So it's a very collaborative thing.
Well, even yesterday, for instance, Elena was listening to the recorded track of SCR, which you've played before on here. But she was listening to that, and she added all these like amazing harmonies and everything. And I wouldn't even thought about that. On that track, I sung over myself. I did my own harmonies. But when I play that live, I've never had someone do harmonies before. So in practice, when we were doing that, I was just like, "That sounds so great! Keep that!"
and you went up to go to the bathroom, and all the three of us worked out like the chords for the double time in Ego.
Yeah.
Like in that time that it took you to go downstairs, so we're all able to kind of like keep like checks and balances kind of thing, almost with like parts. And you think this sounds good and. Not from just like an outside, not just from an outside perspective, but from a like how the instrument is supposed to sound perspective, which is nice.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it does, especially like if someone actually who does other things, like obviously with all your solo stuff and being in other bands and playing other instruments as well. I think it definitely helps the collaboration process, and it makes the music sound even better because everyone kind of understands what is going on.
It does, and I think everyone is just happy with the songs we're playing. That's one issue I had before with the band, with the old members, is that no fingers really pointed, but just like at least one person wouldn't be happy. It would be a different person every time, but at least one person in the band wouldn't be happy with like some part in a song. But now it's just so easy working with these guys. It's amazing. Like if we're not happy, they're not like, okay, well that sucks, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. They're like, okay, well let's work on this, let's change this to like something else that we're all gonna like, agree on.
We had our first argument yesterday. I wouldn't even really call it an argument. It was a heated discussion. We had our first heated discussion yesterday.
Yeah, but we had it like adults, and that's what you're supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna turn my back and hold a grudge.
And that's another thing too. I think speaking for Kayla doing her solo stuff is like in a band you have the chance to get outvoted. Like you don't just have to decide with yourself what the direction is. Like the conversation we were having specifically was the cover song thing, and I was like dead set on something, and the other three of them weren't, and they all had a general like this is what we want to do, and I was like, I mean, I'm outvoted 3-1. It's not a bad idea. I just thought that I had a better idea, and it's just that's how the shit rolls. I mean, it is what it is, and that's it. Like I was saying, that's another thing too. Difference between stage drive and solo stuff is you have to listen to other people on purpose.
That's true, but that's something that I like though about a band because even before the rebranding of Stage Drive, there was the point where I was just like, maybe I should just go back to doing solo stuff. Like I don't know, I just was super bummed and everything.
You and I were dead set. You and I were dead set on that up until like you brought it up. Like we were.
I was just like, I don't want to hear the
solo drummer. I was just going to be her solo drummer, and then she just slowly brought it up, and I'm like, I can do both.
Yeah. Well, the reason though is because I honest to God, I love, even though like Bryan said, there's a chance that I could get outvoted on something easily, right? And I have been outvoted on something, and that's totally okay. I like that. I like in the moment I might not, but later on I'm like, okay, that's probably a good idea, and it's. I just like the group setting. It's kind of like a group project in high school, but better.
except one person isn't doing all the work.
Yeah, I was always that one.
I was too.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's good. Yes, Stage Drive. I've noticed in the last couple weeks you guys have been super active on all the socials and stuff, and obviously you took new promo photos I've seen. So some are pretty funny. I do like them, and the Stage Drive memes on Instagram.
So okay, that's actually that we have someone that wasn't us.
Oh, really?
Someone literally. This is the third time that's happened since we started the band last August.
Is there another one?
There was 3. They've all gotten deleted. So none of them were us, but somebody, we don't know who, someone was just making all of these fake accounts and stuff. And it was I mean, some of them were funny. I'll give you that. Like, there was one making fun of me, and I was like, that's clever. That's clever, man. Ow, but that's clever. But, yeah, it wasn't us. None of them were us. And so we just had all these fake accounts being made. If you go on Instagram, actually, the same person, this is when we were first making social media accounts for the band. Someone took the name Stage Drive Official, and it's the same, just so we couldn't have it. I have no idea who it is. Absolutely no idea. But we've been having that issue, and it's funny, like, is what it is,
Although, to be fair, the amount of pictures that I expect you to be taking, because she's the social media guru. Yeah. That's not a bad idea to throw a meme up there now and then, just kind of as a wink nudge.
Yeah. Honest to God, if the person would have messaged us and been like, "Hey, I want to make this funny account," I would have been like, "Oh, go for it! I'll help. Let's go." Self-deprecation is the best. Let's go. But
self-depreciating humor is my specialty.
Yeah, and it was just so weird though, because I remember the first night I saw the first account that was made, which was probably 3 months after we made the band. I was so confused. I was like, I don't know what this is.
They followed me on Instagram, and I saw that I was dying. Like, I wasn't in the band at the time, but I thought it was the greatest thing. And I was like, "Hey, Kayla, that's great." And she's like, "Oh, this isn't us." I'm like,
No, I messaged a bunch of people, and I was like, just so they knew, I don't know, I was like, "Hey, that's definitely not us." Because I saw, people that knew me were following the account back, and I was like, "No, it's not us."
I didn't know. They follow me, too, on Instagram. I just assumed it was you guys. But so someone likes to troll you guys, apparently.
And some of them are funny. I'm a team player. Whatever, I have a sense of humor. So if that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. But I just was I was so confused. It was weird.
Yeah. Taking the Stage Drive name, that's interesting. That's a new level of I have nothing to do with my life right now.
Yeah, we even messaged the account at one point. We were like, "Hey man, what's going on here?" We were just we weren't mad or anything really, but I was just I don't know, we were just asking what's going on, and they just, I don't know, they didn't tell us anything.
It was me the whole time. Yuck.
That'd be some shit, Bryan. That'd be some shit. Make a podcast meme page.
That's Dr. Evil level. Right?
There's no pictures of diecast romance on social media, so good luck. You can make a bunch of memes out of the cover art for my EP. That's about all you got.
I'll do what I can.
Fair enough.
Yeah, look at this cover art. It's yellow.
It's yellow.
My wife painted that. That's a hand painted picture that I took a picture of with my phone, brightened it up a little bit in Microsoft Paint, and then uploaded it to DistroKid.
Man, he is an old man. Microsoft Paint.
I have a nice shiny MacBook now that I can use.
Yeah, we did our live off of that. That was nice.
Yes, we did.
Microsoft Paint. I have not heard that in a hot minute, man.
Oh, yeah. Showing his age.
90s kids, what's up?
98, boy.
90s don't count. You don't count.
No, I don't.
No, she doesn't.
I don't.
She's born in 98. You didn't. No. There's a lot of stuff that you missed out on for actual early 90s babies. No.
Says an old man.
Right.
You already know. All right. Anyway, sorry. Getting back to these now. Serious business. So. I got just gonna be wrapping up. I got 2-ish more questions, but so advice for any musicians who are looking to either start a band or play an instrument.
Just go for it. There's been so many things that I've held myself back from because I was scared. Starting a band, for instance, I was terrified of rejection. What if people don't like it? What if people don't follow it or subscribe or whatever? Just go for it. Stop caring. And then even posting videos of yourself. The first video I posted was a song that I wrote called Happy, and it was to YouTube, and I was playing shows for a while, but I'd never posted a video on like the internet or any social medias or anything, and I posted this song I wrote called Happy to YouTube 4 or 5 years ago, I think. And I was terrified. I remember I posted it.
Aw, baby Kayla.
Yeah, I put my phone down and I walked away because I was like, I can't do this. It's just, rejection is scary, but just, bulk up and just deal with it. Just face it head on. Just go for it. Learn the instrument, sing the song, post the video, play the show, just do it.
I have 2 pieces of advice. The first one is, don't just listen to 1 or 2 genres of music. You will be able, especially if you're learning a musical instrument. I always talk about how John 5, Rob Zombie's guitar player, and Zakk Wylde use country chicken picking techniques in metal songs. So if you listen to different genres and you pick up different things and handpick and make your own style, that's how you get your name out there.
Yeah.
And the one piece of advice that I follow, and I really wish more people did, is don't ever think you know everything about your instrument.
There's always something to learn. I agree with that.
You will always have something to learn. There will always be somebody that did a new thing, a new way that you can try. Yep. Don't ever think you know everything about your craft.
Yeah,
always be learning.
Or be open.
I'm going to teach Kayla how to play drums left-handed.
Left-handed? Well, hold on. I was left.
Open-handed. We'll do open-handed.
Okay, open-handed.
I don't know
Fair trade.
Back to talking in code again.
Here, hold on. No, I got this. So, regular, this is I don't know if I think it's close-handed. I don't know if it's just the opposite. So you got your hi-hat right here that you play with your dominant hand, and this is your snare. And you play your kick drum with your dominant foot.
Mm-hmm.
Open-handed is, for me, it would be playing the hi-hat with my right hand,
mine's my
the
left.
Snare drum with my left hand, and the bass drum still with my left foot. So you're uncrossing your hands.
Yeah, so it just means your body's like open,
And that's a lot of like the big one that I always think of is Carter Beauford from Dave Matthews Band. He plays open-handed, and it opens up. I can't say open one more fucking time, Brian. It opens up your, like, you can do some cool like tom fills, because if you want to do a tom fill, you still have to have this arm over, and you can, you're restricted movement. But if you're playing open-handed, you have access to everything on your kit while still being able to keep time. Being left-handed, I had to learn open-handed because I didn't get my first drum kit until I was in 9th grade. But I started playing drums when I was 12. So I had to basically play on everybody else's kit, and nobody would let me turn their entire kit left-handed, much less me knowing what left-handed drum sets looked like. I'm left-handed in real life, but I learned left-handed by mirroring what I saw people do instead of mimicking what they did. Like, I'd watch a video and I'd mirror it, and then I realized that that's actually comfortable. Don't ever think you know everything about your instrument, and listen to a bunch of different genres. Don't be one of those metal elitists that think that only screams and drop A flat tunings are the only way to go. Andrew, no, he likes a lot. He likes a lot of other stuff too.
Only black metal for me. That is all.
No.
Anyway, so on that note of me mentioning black metal, that I really
notes. Sorry.
See? It's like something super cool radio. Right? I got this play on words. So I'm gonna wrap up this interview. I had a great time chatting with you guys. I do got one more thing before I let you guys go. How are you gonna close out 2021? What are you gonna do for your respected solo material, stage drive, life in general? How are you gonna close out the rest of 2021?
Well, for stage drive, so the song we've been mentioning a million times. Oh, you shushed. Gosh. Ego. I'm not going to say anything. We have a pretty big show announcement to make as our first show back.
I said shh.
Yeah, I'm not saying when or where, but we have a big show announcement. Matthew deserves this information.
It is really big. Hey, check it out. Check it out. Watch this, Matthew. We'll tell you after you stop recording.
Yeah.
And don't say we're clear. I know I use StreamYard too. I know where it shows if you're live or not.
Yeah, so we're doing that show, and then we want to record Ego, the song we've been mentioning a bunch of times throughout this. I was actually just talking to Kevin about it earlier from the sound.
Yep, I was talking to him as well.
Yeah, and he's pretty excited about that one. I think that's going to be
Kevin
really
Williams.
cool. Yeah, so we want to do this show, and we want to kick off the rebranding with just a really big bang, and the single we want to start recording. As far as solo stuff, I have a lot of solo shows planned. We're going on a solo tour not next September. Next month. Next month we're going on tour. End of September.
As well as having that show on Labor Day weekend as well.
Yeah, and then I have a solo show on this coming Friday, like I was saying with Elena. So we have a lot of solo stuff planned. And then for Stage Drive, we're just working on writing material and getting the single. Maybe EP. We'll see. We'll see if that's before the end of the year. We'll see at least a single
EP by the end of the year. You
guys got it.
You never know. See, he's on board. Thank you. That's what he's here for.
Okay, I'm the realistic one in this relationship, and I'm saying about 6 months. I think will be good.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes single this year, everything else sometime next year.
Yeah,
by mid next year. By mid next year.
Yeah.
Well, see, the reason I'm on board with it is I'm not doing any of the work. I'm just telling people it's a good idea.
I mean, I do that. I understand. If I don't have to do it, I'm just like, yeah, you got this.
I'm that guy during the Michigan State year that week because again being from Wisconsin, I don't care either way. So I'll sit behind Michigan people when they're talking shit to Michigan State and be like, oh shit. And then I'll sit behind Michigan State people when they're talking to Michigan people and be like, oh, shit. So I'm doing the same thing, just instigating. You going to let him talk to you like that?
I could see that.
So lots of solo shows, and then Stage Drive, we're just trying to push and just... I think we started off on a good foot with the rebranding and everything, and we're just going to keep pushing forward with that.
2,000 likes.
Yeah, we did hit 2,000 likes on our page, so that was really kind of
Wouldn't
cool.
mind 2,500.
It was a milestone, yeah. So we're gonna keep pushing with that. We got photo shoots and stuff planned, and actually,
thank you for loving me.
Oh, thank you for loving me. That's coming out on the 23rd of this month. So that is next Tuesday, I believe. So the 23rd. So that's gonna be cool. It's a really good one.
No, it's in a couple weeks. 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah, so that comes out on the 23rd. That one was done with the original members of Stage Drive, and it was done at the Sound Shop with Kevin again. He did an amazing job on it. It sounds... Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah.
I love Kevin.
Yeah.
He is great to work with. Yeah.
He's good. He's good people.
He is good people.
For sure.
Diecast is kind of in limbo right now. I have demos that Phil Stewart, also of Sound Shop Studio and Elsie Binks, Sexy Phil, my now full-time collaborator with Diecast Romance. It is, on paper, it is a solo project, but in reality, it is not. He is writing just as much as I am. So that I have demos in my Dropbox and in my email that kind of on hold right now because I'm very, very focused on learning Kayla's solo material, getting Stage Drive stuff written, getting ready for that thing at that place at that one time. Yeah, I'm Diecast Romance. I don't really have a timetable for anything. I'd like to get something done by this time next year, but that's all going to complete. Now my life is completely overtaken by this little 5'7" lady from Wayne, Michigan. So her music and the music that we're writing with Stage Drive is my priority right now. But when I get to it, I'll get to it. I did get a demo from Phil for that pop cover that I talked about at the beginning of this year. It's in my email. It's there. We have the new what's going on.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and part of the thing too is having so many collaborators. I mean, schedules have to line up, and I don't have an excuse right now. I've been off work for 2.5 weeks. Next week's going to be my third full week off of work, so I don't really have an excuse. But again, I'm focused on Kayla's music. But yeah, just riding the wave with this little bombshell down here and seeing what happens.
It is nice getting to work together though after 2 years of talking about it. I think this is probably the best way. Like, it's really awesome getting to do the solo stuff and the stage.
And let me tell you, if you guys don't know, just from listening to this interview, Kayla has more drive and charisma about everything, like to the point where I'm scared I won't be able to keep up with her. Like, talk about being excited to work with me. Like, I pretty much fell in love with her voice as soon as I heard her sing in Pontiac last year.
It's funny because I always ask Bryan to. This is at least a daily question, if not like a couple times a day. I'm like, am I pushing too hard? Do you think I'm doing this too much? And he's like, no, man, like keep pushing. So it's nice to have someone like behind you pushing with you instead of just, me shoving everything, So
if you want to get into a compliment war, we'll go, kid. I will. Don't even try.
We don't have time for that. That's like a whole nother episode.
Right.
But yeah, this is going to be fun. I mean, I've being into. Practices. We have to reel in practices now and then. But everybody has fun. We get along great already.
We really do, all of us. Yeah.
We've had, I think, 7 practices now. We've been running 2 weeks since I've been off work, and we're just immediately bonded.
We also break up into separate groups too. Like Elena will come over to my house and we'll work on stuff, and then Tim and Bryan will work on stuff. That's another thing I like about this group too, is I've also worked one-on-one with Tim. Like, we can all break off and work on things separately if we can't meet up as a group, which I think is an amazing dynamic to have in a band for sure.
Everybody is equally as committed.
Yeah, which is I've never had that.
Kayla and I may be like an arm hair more, but that's because we were the first two to jump. I was the first one to jump on, and like I said, we've been talking about working together for a while. But yeah, Tim and I. It's the weirdest things. Like, it's like that scene from Step Brothers that we always keep talking about. We just become best friends. Like, he's also from
the same state.
He's also from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
He is a colonel in the Army that had the same job that I did while I was in the Army, and I met this dude, and that was literally what it was. Like,
it was like love at first sight when they first met. It's beautiful.
And the best part is about having 2 guys and 2 girls is the rooming situation is already written. Like,
yeah, I'll be sharing with Bryan, and Elena's gonna be with Tim, of course.
Exactly.
She's kidding, dear.
No, I'll be with my girl Elena. We're gonna be
although we are rooming together when we go on tour at the end of next month.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah, next month, not next September.
This September.
Not a year, not 13 months, next month.
Yeah, it's next month. I'm really excited for that. What is it, the 23rd, 24th, and 26th?
23, 24, 25, 26. We're halfway done booking.
Yeah, so what do we got? Michigan?
You're working on a show in Detroit for the Thursday. Friday we're Hall and Larry, who you know. He's trying to help me find something in the northern Indiana area, which now you can go to.
So Wisconsin.
Saturday, going to be playing in my home state of Wisconsin in Schofield at Speakeasy, which I'm so excited. I'm going to cry. I'm just letting you know right now, Kayla, I'm going to cry.
Videotape that.
Yes. And then Sunday we are this one I can actually say full stuff about. Sunday we're closing out at the Muse on Main in Fort Wayne with Wisher and The Early.
Woo, The Early solo show with when was that? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks
Middle
ago?
of July.
Middle of July, yeah.
Not everything was 3 weeks ago, Kayla.
I know, that's just like my go-to. I'm like, the other day, 3 weeks ago.
But yeah, so that show will be really fun.
That's gonna be good. I've been to the Muse on Main.
Yeah.
But you can go to 2 shows that weekend then.
Woo!
Yeah.
Just scheduled it. Just scheduled it for you. We'll set up a live interview with Kaylee. See?
Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go.
They do actually want to meet her too. So
she's good. She's good people.
Yeah.
She's good people.
All right, I'm going to close. We're almost at an hour, so I'm going to close out this interview. Please check out Stream Support, If You Like the Stage Drive, Kayla Solo Work, Diecast Romance, all that great stuff. I'll leave some links in the description for everyone to check out. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So for Bryan Knickerbocker and Kayla Drange, I am Matthew Thomas with Super Cool Radio. Thank you so much for watching. Stay frosty.